And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to this third, I guess I'll call it episode of today of Holiday Camp 2023. And what better way to close the day off than the one and only drum roll, please? Do you have a drum roll there, Don? Drum roll, please. Dazzling Dawn. Nova. Okay, it's all yours now, Don. That
All
was
right.
that was your cue. Dazzling Dawn.
Okay.
Give a big round of
Great.
applause.
Here I am, you guys, and we are going to do survey says what's the number one popular sound in Christmas time? Survey says
Bells.
bells. Absolutely.
Bells.
Absolutely. And you heard Miranda beautifully play some bells, and she did a fabulous job. And actually, I learned my one thing today from Miranda. So, Miranda, thank you very much. That was fabulous. Um, if you've got your sheet in front of you, I'm going to be utilizing this throughout and not the song, but the actual worksheet. Keep going, keep going. There it is. There it is. I'm going to be utilizing several of these tips in my very first song. Now, this is a song that actually Janice from Maine asked if we could do this, and I was very unfamiliar with it. The title is Who Would Imagine a King? And it is a 1990 song from The Preacher's Wife, sung by Whitney Houston. And so, if you are unfamiliar with that song, go to YouTube, and she sings it with her little kids doing
Okay.
the she sings it with the little kids doing the nativity scene for her church. So I am using several of these things on this list to change my bells. I'm starting with one of the presets, and we'll talk about how to get some of these. And you don't have to use them in just this song. You can use bells for any Christmas song. As a matter of fact, you can borrow bells from one preset to another, and sometimes you can even just use bells with the easy button and not use any rhythm to play things like Silent Night or some of your other favorite Christmas carols. So, finding bells is one of the most important things you can do at Christmas. And if you have presets that you can save, that's the best way to find them too, is to just make them and save them. So design your own bells or borrow them from other sections of the organ, save them into presets without the rhythms so that you can utilize them for any of your Christmas songs. So if you don't have presets, see me after the concert. Okay, so there we go. There's the commercial for the day. And we're going to start off with Who Would Imagine a King by Whitney Houston from The Preacher's Wife. And I want you to listen for how the bells change. What am I doing to change the bells? And by the way, for those of you who are interested in doing this song, it's on Patreon. We did it in a Monday class, so everything about it is on Patreon. So I'm not going to do the song as much as I'm going to do how to make bells. Here we go. pretty song? Yeah. It's a beautiful song. Okay. So, the first thing you want to do is find out what kind of bell sounds your instrument has. And for some of you that have arias and grand marquis, you could spend a whole day looking for bell sounds. Well, what if you're on a smaller instrument? If you've got any of the easies, ones, twos, threes, fours, tens, you're going to find church bells, crystal bells, but do not forget, and Miranda did tell you this too, vibes are also very good bells. So vibes starts with a B, not a V, not a B. So don't always be looking in one spot where you think bells has to be. In the Estes, like your Freedom 3 and your Discovery 3, go to your mallets because now you're going to have vibes and bells under mallets. Okay. If you've got category presets, look for bells. They're not always going to be in the bells category, but some of you do have a category that's called bells. Oh my, now you have tons and tons of bells that have already been put together so that you have lots of good things. So every time you touch one of these, you're going to get a different set of bells that have already been put together for you. All right, and you can use those. You can change those, by the way. You don't have to use them right as they are. You can change them. What do I mean by that? Well, you can add to your bells organs, which are your flutes. Those are your tabs if you've got them. Strings, which are your yellow tabs, and vocals. Because here's the thing about bells. If you've got on just bells, and let's go back to the bells that we used from the background was lullaby. The sound was called music box. And then I just did different things to the music box to make different bells for my song. And if you look about halfway down the page, maybe about a third to a half, add to the bells organs. So you can add organ sounds. Hear how the organ holds the tone? We call that padding the sound. If you've got a bell on, what eventually happens to the sound?
Dies out.
It decays and it dies, correct. So if you pad that sound with an organ or several flutes, you still get the bell, but you also get the sound continuing. So it not only smooths it out, it thickens the sound. Or you can add strings. And I did that for the second verse. I put strings with the music box bells. Then for the third verse, I took the strings off and I added vocals. And the same thing. All of your tabs are going to hold the sound so that when the bell is done, you still have that same sound. And now it's going to just smooth everything out for you, and it thickens it up a little bit. I also used harmony. And you know what? I don't think I even added that to my list. I typed this up really late on Saturday night. I was up till midnight doing this. So add harmony, and I did that for the bridge. I used the same bell sound. I took off all of the padded sounds, and I added a duet. So now I'm getting the double bells. Now you have to play a chord every time you want to use your harmony or it's not going to sound. Because how does it know which second or third note to add? It depends on what chord you are playing. Okay, so now you know that you can take any of your bells from your categories and add things to them. And if you find a sound that you really like, save it to a preset. Now, if you don't have presets, and yeah, you're going to have to come call me after the concert, or write them down. because even the smaller instruments can do this. If you put it on vibes and you add some strings, you are going to get a really nice sound. You can't save it anywhere, but you can set up your song with something that you wrote down. Vibes
Dawn,
plus strings. Yes,
may I ask you a question?
you may.
If you add harmony, what kind of harmony do you have to add?
You
Like
can
the plain AOC or the duet or block
I
harmony?
like the duet the best because it doesn't make it muddy. It adds enough harmony, but it doesn't make it muddy. But do not be afraid to try the other harmonies. I think that if it gets too many bells, it starts to sound a little bit muddy, but that's totally up to you. You're the player. It's your bells. How many bells you want going at once? Try the AOC, but duet's my favorite one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions at
John,
this point? Yeah.
I don't know if this is a good question, but do you have to have the bells in the window on before and then add your strings and your whatever?
Well, first you got to find your bells. Okay? What's if you want to find bells that are not category presets, not holidays, not bells, not in any of your rhythm presets, you want to just find bells that are inside your organ. What's the easiest way? Erase everything first. Take off all your tabs, take off all your orchestrals, take off all your solos, and don't forget to take off all your theater tabs as well. So that now, what do I have on top? Nothing. Blank piece of paper, blank slate. Now go to your Genius or Sounds. How many Genius or Sounds do you have available on most of the instruments for your bells? Up to 5, because you have 2 in your orchestrals, 2 in your solos, and 1 in your tabs. Up
Oh,
to 5. Some of you don't have quite that many. Some of you will have 1, 1, and maybe a third one.
oh,
So what do you do then? Well, then you can either go to the list in your manual to find bells, or you can just touch it and scroll. Now make sure that the command says upper on. Upper on. I'm on Red Genius 1, upper on. It says music box because that's the one that we were using. And that starts with an M. That doesn't even start with a B, does it? All right. So now, if I want a different one, let's scroll. And I'm going to scroll backwards to the B's. And yeah, or you can find a number in your book, dial in the number, and touch the Genius, and it'll go straight to that bell. And then you can scroll from there.
okay.
Hurry up. We close at 6. Come on. Okay. All right.
I have done that, so now I
All right, so
understand
now
why
you
it
go to
was done.
bells. Bells by itself is actually sound number 32. Okay, so that'll get you to your bells.
Okay.
You want 1? That's fine. You want to add some strings? Whoops, make sure your tabs are on. Or a string 8. Or a vocal. So you can change it. Or let's try a second bell, different one, and let's put it in red, orchestral, sound, or genius 2. So I'm going to touch number 2. I'm going to actually go to, I know how to get to bells now. It's 32.
Mhm.
There it is.
You
Touch
press
number
on, so-
2, goes to bells. So now I'm going to scroll to the next one. Carillon bells. Cool. That's not one I think would go good with little bells. Celesta bells. Okay, I like that one. Now let's put on 1 and 2 together. 1 and 2 together. Woo, that's kind of pretty. I've combined 2 different bells of what you have in your instrument. Okay, now I'm going to turn those off. I'm going to leave them there, but I'm going to turn them off. All I'm going to do is turn off the command that says up or on. If you're on a bigger organ, you got to turn it off in both your red sounds. Now let's go to 32. and put it into a solo. And now I'm going to scroll again. Make sure it's blue. Celesta bells, church bells, crystal bells. That could work. So now I'm going to combine crystal bells with the two that we had in orchestral. So now I've got 3 bells going at the same time. Wow, pretty cool, huh? We're designing our own bell sounds. You can combine 2, 3, 4. Some of you even have this Upper Genius tab where you can actually combine 5 different bell sounds at once. And then you can also add things like your organ sounds or your string sounds or your vocal sounds. And if you like what you just did, save it. Memorize.
Oh.
Letter, number, with style, you just want the sound. So not with style. Then you turn your memorize button off and it should be there. Now hopefully I didn't have anything else in E10 because it will bring up the background of whatever I had in there before.
So don't touch this sound or the style or the
No, you just want memorize the
Okay.
letter, whichever bank you want, and whichever number preset you want, turn your memorize button off. Now you have saved your recipe. You saved your recipe, which I have 3 different bells and a vocal.
Should you save that to like a B or C?
Yep, could have saved it to A, B, C, any of them.
Oh,
I just happen to have songs in A, B, and C right now.
right.
Dawn, I have a question for you real quick, if I may.
Yeah.
If you're going to go, like, say you do a lot of transposing,
Mm-hmm.
would you go ahead and save transpose just in
No.
case? No?
No, don't save
Oh.
transpose because if you want it to go to your song and then be
exactly.
able to transpose.
That-
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you do not want to
Okay.
save transpose. You want to be able to put it in a different
Somewhere,
transpose
yeah,
for your song.
Okay.
So let's say I want to play Frosty the Snowman with my new bell sound. So if I go country swing, and then I go to E10. Nope, didn't work. You know why? Because I was on a different background. I knew that was going to happen. All right, let's try this. All right, let's go to E10 first and then go to country swing. Now I should have my bells, my vocals, and Frosty the Snowman on a country rhythm. Not too bad if I say so myself, huh? And you can make up your own recipe for bells, and then you can save a whole bunch of them. You can just go A1, A2, A3, just have a whole bunch of them. And then you can put them in a file, put them on your stick or your disk, and say, aha, those are my Christmas bells, sounds only. And that way you can use them for any of your rhythms, any of them. So you can make your own recipes. If you cannot save your presets, make sure you write down the combinations that you liked. Whether it was vibes and strings or it was bells and vocals, whichever your combinations are, whether it was adding a duet to add something different, yeah. So that works. Now, how about if you go to a song setup and you like the sound? What do? But I don't like the background. I don't want to do that song. So, for example, let's go to, just for fun, let's go to Sleigh Ride. I'm not going to play Sleigh Ride. Kerry likes to play Sleigh Ride. He's good at it. Okay, let's see if it's in here. Scrolling, Sleigh Ride. Okay. Now remember, every time you do a song setup, it's going to give you a sound here and a sound here. It's not going to turn on any of your rhythm presets, any of your banks, or any of your categories. All those go off because Bill Curry gave you a nice set of sounds to use for Sleigh Ride. if I look, it looks like I have strings and it looks like I have some bells on here too. And I like that sound, but I don't want this. I don't want the, just don't want that because I'm sick of it. Everybody plays the sleigh bells background for Christmas songs. You want something different. Maybe you want to play just the sound. Just the sound. But you do the same thing. You save it to a preset. Memorize. E. Let's do it. Memorize. E. 9. With style. No. Don't want it. With transpose. No. Don't want that either. Turn your memorize button off. And now I have borrowed the sound from my sleigh bells song setup that I can now use it with any rhythm. So or no rhythm. If I turn off the rhythm and just put on easy, let's go to my E9, just put on my easy. Now I can play things like, oh, it's on full AOC. Let's turn off AOC. I can even add a golden harp. Wow.
That's a lot better. Yeah.
So I borrowed a sound from a song setup, put it into a preset, and then I can use it either alone with a golden harp, or I can put on a different rhythm and use it with that. So if you don't like making your own recipe, you don't have to. You can just borrow what your organ already has. How about if you go to something like the music box that I went to, the lullaby, and it comes up music box. Nice sound, but I want to borrow it, okay? So what I do is the same thing. I memorize E, 7, with style, no. With transpose, no, Turn your memorize button off, and now you've saved that sound. Now I could have doctored it up too, if I wanted to. How do you doctor it up? Add some flute tabs, add a string tab or two, add a vocal ensemble, and or add a harmony. Those are the ways to really make some recipes and change what's already there. And then you're just borrowing your sound from another location. And now I can play that with, let's see if it works for me. Yeah, see, I've already got a background in that one too. Oh boy. Okay. Let's try this. Let's go back to a country background. Let's do a different one this time. Do like a rinky tink. See how I did that? I borrowed the music box from a very nice, quiet lullaby rhythm, and I borrowed it and I put it on a rinky-tink rhythm so I could play a faster song. So you don't have to make your own bells, but you can. That's the cool thing too. You just clear your slate, combine 1, 2, 3, up to 5 different bell sounds and make a recipe. And then if you like it, save it. Save it. You don't have to like it tomorrow because you can always erase it and redo it. That's the cool thing. If you like something, save it so you don't lose it. Or write it down. Either one. Any questions about bells?
I have a question, Dawn. Yeah. Suppose in your organ you already have like a certain song which is in the song setup of your organ. So you don't like actually the background of that song. So can you just erase that and just put your own bells as your background?
You can. As a background, put my own bells as no. You want to, if you like the sound, you can save the sound. Now, if you like the background, you can change the sound You can change the sound by putting in a bell that you already saved into one of the presets.
Mhm.
So you can do either one. So just because your song setup comes up with a background and
Yeah.
two sounds, you can change everything. You can either change your sounds to like an E10, one of the sounds that we did, or if you don't like the background, save the sound to a preset and
Oh.
then just find a new rhythm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, you can also just go to a different rhythm without even saving the sound. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go back to the sleigh bells. Or let's do a song setup. Let's do something different. Song setup. Let's do Frosty. Frosty actually has a pretty cool song setup. All right. Wow, sounds like piano, sounds like guitar, sounds like bells. Cool stuff. And there's some strings going on here too. But let's say maybe I don't want this. That's actually pretty cool. Let's say we don't want that one. Remember, when you turn on a song setup, none of these categories or rhythm presets or come up. They're not lit. So if I change now to a different rhythm, for example, let's go to a basic rock and roll. I should still have the same sound from my Frosty. Aha! Why does that happen? And you maybe have already done this on accident. If you don't push that rhythm preset, it's going to hold the sound from your song setup. So smaller instruments can do this too. Just change the rhythm, and now all of a sudden I've got a different rhythm, but I'm using that Frosty the Snowman sound that came with song setup. So I could change the background on it and keep that sound.
Where does the bell comes in? The one that you will play.
Well,
Oh.
what I was doing was using a sound and changing the rhythm
Mhm.
from a song setup. I could do the same thing if I go to Sleigh Ride. If I go to Sleigh Ride, sleigh ride, sleigh ride. There we go. Okay. And here is. And you want that sound, but you don't want this rhythm. You don't have to even save the sound unless you want to use it for other things too, but you could now go to like a soft and easy. But I should have my sleigh ride sound. So I was using that sleigh ride bell sound with a different rhythm.
Hmm.
So that's a trick you can use as well, and that's written on the bottom. Borrow bells from another song setup. Do not touch style setup, and just go to a different rhythm, and you'll now have a new combination. If you like it, save that to a preset, but now save it with the rhythm, because you can always resave everything and put your rhythm in it. Now you've got different combinations. Does it make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Don, question for you real quick.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead and put bells in the Fake It?
Yeah,
Or no?
why not?
I didn't know if you can add it to the Fake It setting.
Yeah, because your Fake It is whatever keyboard you're playing.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
If you're doing Fake It on the top keyboard, just make sure you got bells there. Touch one of your black keys and you got it.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
You keep talking about saving it. If you push the save button, how long is it good for?
As long as you don't do a total reset on your instrument, or somebody comes over to your house and puts a stick in and loads some stuff on top of it. Once you save it into your organ, make sure that if you like it, save it to a USB stick.
Yep.
So that now you've got it and you can reload it next Christmas.
Okay, but then
That's
it's
a whole nother lesson.
Can
Yeah.
you, Dawn,
Yeah.
can you save multiple sounds on that very same stick?
You can save as many as you want. You can save,
Oh,
I'll tell you what, you can save 50, 100 on one file.
okay.
Because
Okay.
you can save A1, you can save one here, you can save one here. A2, save another one. A3, save another one or two. A4, and then when you're ready, you can save it to your stick. You can actually save the A, the B, the C, the D, and the E file all at the same time into one file. So you can make as many different bell sounds as you want, and then save them all and just put it in one file on your stick.
Okay.
So yeah, you can save as many as you want. That's what these things are good for, is that you can
Okay.
save whatever you need. And then next year you can go, what was I thinking? Those are terrible.
Ron,
Yeah.
we have a question from Tucson, Arizona.
Okay. Question from Tucson, Arizona.
Aaron said this
Go
is
ahead.
going to be a tough question.
Don, if I wanted to add a bell sound to my rhythm style, I can do that, right?
Yes. Yes,
Can
you
you go
can.
over that quickly?
I can. That wasn't part of the lesson, but I can do that. Absolutely.
That's going to have to cost extra, another $50.
If you
We got to get the money everywhere we can.
want to add a bell sound to a rhythm, okay, I'm going to go to Crazy Country because I'm pretty sure Crazy Country doesn't use any bells. Lots of guitars. Are you hearing any bells in there?
Nope.
No. How can I add bells to that? You're going to touch the top of your window and you're going to go to Edit Style. Now, if you've been following some of my classes, I've been doing a lot of edit styling lately to do the very thing you're talking about. Let's put some bells into the background. You have 3 columns here of white rectangles. The first one is going to say Genie or Basic. And then the next one's going to say ORC plus 1, ORC plus 2, as many as it's dividing up the style into different instruments separately. And what you can do is change the sound. I'm going to turn off my ORC 1, my ORC 2, my ORC 3, my ORC 4. We're just going to listen to what is the Genie or Basic playing. It's a strumming guitar. I'm going to touch that acoustic guitar and I am going to scroll until it gets to bells. Now,
Oh.
it's not going to do bell things. It's going to do the pattern that the acoustic guitar actually did. So you want to be careful where you put them. See what it's doing? Bells. Okay, that's just regular old bells. Okay? So I'm going to stop that. Now I'm going to see what is this guitar doing. I'm going to turn off the bells just by touching the Genie or Basic. It says off. Now I'm going to see what the next sound is doing. Arpeggiated guitar. Let's listen. Okay. Oh, that would be good for bells. Okay, so now I'm going to touch arpeggiated guitar and I'm going to scroll again to bells. Unfortunately, you cannot do this by putting in a number. It doesn't work that way here. You have to scroll. So we're going to put bells, and I'm just going to use the same regular bells. Hear them? Yeah. Let's add them to the bells in the... Yeah. Now, those might be enough for you. And you can use that as a background with bells in the background. You can do that on absolutely any rhythm. And I can put as many bells in as I want. Does that answer your question in Tucson?
Yes.
Yeah, she wants to know to make the check to Don Casanova.
It's D-A-U-N, yes.
Daun. Okay.
Yes. Spell it right.
And can you edit and add harmony at the same time when you edit it?
No, because harmony doesn't do anything with your rhythm. That's your easy button that does that. That has to do with your chord sounds. Now, you can also put bells in your chord sounds, by the way. If you did not want to put it in your background sounds, you could actually put bells into your lower sound or genius tab. And then you would have bell sounds in your chord. And as long as the easy button is on, the harmony would be doing whatever chord you're playing. The harmonies over here only affect your right hand melody here or down on the lower keyboard. So harmony does not have really anything to do with what's going on in the rhythm. We can talk about putting bells in songs all day long because it's fun. It is really fun and it's easy. And
Oh,
what it
very
gets you to do is push the buttons on your instrument and go, ooh, I can make a recipe just from changing my background, and I can make it all bells if I want.
Mhm.
Or maybe you don't want bells there. Maybe you want bells, like I said, in your lower.
I probably could have recorded this. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, your lower tabs are also.
There's a record button here.
Uh-huh.
Here.
A record button.
Oh,
The record button is for recording your songs when you're done. You playing them.
Right.
But I can take my lower genius and I can put in a bell sound. It's right now says guitar steel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a number in. Let's go to my keypad. I think we said 32 was bells. And let's make this a little louder. So I can put bells in my lower chords. So now you found out that you can put bells in your chords. You can put bells in your background. You can change bells, your top and bottom. You can mix and match backgrounds and add them to your bell sounds. And then when you get your recipes done, you can have all kinds of bells going all over the place. And then you save everything, including rhythm. If you include the rhythm or your music style, then you saved all of it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Fun stuff. Okay, how am I doing on time?
I think you're doing great. Now we got to hear some great music.
All right. I am going to play my second song.
I know you have all sorts of great songs up your sleeve there.
Well, if you heard the stick, you heard what I'm doing. And I taught this one in the 60s class. I love teaching the 60s book. And this is the first year that I've ever taught this. I'm having so much fun with it. It's called Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys. And for those of you that you hear it on the radio all the time, you might want to come join me on 60s Day, which is 12:30 on Wednesdays, and just come to Zoom. And even for Christmas, I'm trying to do some of the newer stuff from the 60s. As a matter of fact, I'm doing one of Jerome's favorites next week. All right, here we go. I
heard that.
Jerome, I got a question to ask you. Are you back?
All right.
Are ya? Okay.
Yeah. What's the question?
Are you back?
Yeah, you can ask.
Are you back?
Oh, yes.
That's what I wanted to hear. I'm doing your favorite Christmas song, Last Christmas.
Apparently he's back and he has a hearing problem now too.
It's nice to see you on Zoom. It's nice to have you
back.
Nice
to see you too.
Big round of applause. Big round of applause. And Dawn, a big round of applause. Here we go.
I got lots of applause. I have a
I
great
know.
group behind me here.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Let's give it up again. Zoomers, you can unmute and give her. Now you can say stuff.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Please
today,
watch the
everybody.
language. Big round of applause there. Let me switch this. There we go. All right. Ooh, someone else did it too. Okay. Well, that was exhilarating. I don't know about you.
Hopefully you
Now-
learned one thing, and hopefully it raised enough questions for you to now go to your instruments and start pushing the buttons and have your favorite PA, personal assistant, help you find everything that we talked about today, everything that Miranda talked about, everything that Carrie talked about, and then be prepared to learn more things tomorrow. Oh boy, because we'll see you all back here again at 1 o'clock.
Right, we have a great lineup for tomorrow. And so tomorrow, starting at the exact same time, we're going to kick off the day with Andrew Leach. And then we have Joni Monero. And then I'll finish it off. But by the way, this is going to be a surprise to some of the staff members today, but I might get one or two or all the above, depending on their schedule. I might get one of them or two to play some more music tomorrow throughout. So be prepared. Don, Carrie, and Miranda, I'll get with you.
Okay.
And also, just so everybody knows, these are obviously recorded. Once the holiday camp is done with and I get them all processed according to what have you, you'll get emails from me with links to these that you can go back and watch anytime that you like. And I'll do that several times so you have enough emails. It'll be the same link. Sometimes people delete them or they end up in the wrong place in the email. So you'll have the ability to go back and watch these multiple times. It will not be posted on Patreon. This won't be a Patreon exclusive. This is a holiday camp exclusive. All right, for you guys only. All right, you paid for it. And since Don gave those extra tips, you have to pay more now. We'll
Have to
send
pay
you
extra.
more money. Just kidding. All right, so with that said, whoever's got the big round of applause, let's give it up for, let's see, Don Casanova, everybody. Let's give it up for Carrie Price, everybody. Let's give it up for Miranda Becker, everybody.
Good job, Miranda.
All right.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
I love your top. So cute.
Great stuff coming your way tomorrow. Thank you. Stay safe. Keep playing music and mwah.
Thank you.
Thank you.